Retro Radiator Springs, the 2013 series, is interesting. Not only does it include some odd choices, especially because it's supposed to be focused around cars from the flashback. I don't get why it includes Lightning Ramon. Why not Old School Ramon / Cruising Ramon, depending on whatever you want to call it. But it also was actually a very odd case. As you see, guys, this was released, this was the first year of the series line, something that's fun and cool and continues to this day. But there's one major problem. In 2013, the year where we're ranking all the series in, and then we'll go on to 2014, 15, 16, etc., there's no Radiator Springs series, no normal Radiator Springs series, only Retro Radiator Springs, which I just find kind of annoying. Meanwhile, all the cars that would usually be released in the Radiator Springs series made their way into Wheelwell Motel. Flo, Sheriff, Sarge, and Fillmore, and Red all made their way into Wheelwell Motel, including Sally, was in a 2-pack in Wheelwell Motel. Extremely odd because she's featured as a single in Retro Radiator Springs. So, let's get started. There's 8 cars, 7 singles, and 1 deluxe. No 2-packs. Let's get started. Oh, and there's only ever one new release in this series. That was Mildred. Okay, so it's kind of obvious why Sally here is last. I would have included Lightning Ramon last, but I just want to explain this. Like I just said, Sally was released in a 2-pack in the Retro Radiator Springs line with Hudson Hornet Piston Cup McQueen and an exclusive little table for them to have dinner at. So why would you buy Sally as a single when you could get her, pay some more money to get her in a 2-pack with McQueen, even if you had both of them and you just wanted to get them because you needed a replacement Sally? Then why wouldn't you just get that pack? Even if you have Hudson Hornet Piston Cup McQueen, you still get the new accessory. I just don't get it. Other than that, she's a perfectly normal model. Normal Sally, you know. I don't know if she has flat eyelids. I don't personally have this released for her. Just looking at her, it kind of looks like she does have flat eyelids. I don't know, and it of course does make sense why she's in the Retro Radiator Springs series, as she was telling McQueen the story of the town. But you know who it doesn't make sense to have in the series? Someone else I've already talked about. Let's just go to the next one. You'll see who it is. It'll make sense. It's Lightning Ramon, because of course it's Lightning Ramon. He doesn't belong in this series. Could have easily snuck him into the Piston Cup series. But whatever, I'm not okay with him being in the series, but I guess you want to release Lightning Ramon, Mattel, and you didn't want to put him anywhere else, so I guess it's alright. But other than that, Lightning Ramon is here on this list so low because of how common he is. However, he's actually one of my personal favorite Ramones. He's a great model of Ramon, but I just don't think he belongs in this series. I think they could have waited another year to release him in a different series. Not much to say here about Brand New Mater. He's a extremely common release. He's been released so many times. That's why he's low on the list. I didn't put him as low as Sally or Ramon because there's really no reason to put him low on the list other than him just being common. See, I had other reasons for why Sally was on the list so low because she was already released in that series. And, I mean, in this year. Ramon, and Sally was released in a better deal. Ramon, on the other hand, didn't really belong in that series, but he was still a great release. Mater here perfectly fits in fine with the series. I mean, yeah, he's fine here being in the series. He definitely fits, and he's a very nice Mater. Probably one of my favorite Cars 1 Maters. Okay, here we go, guys. Now we're starting to see some of the interesting releases in this series. This is Hank Halloween Murphy, released multiple times. I have one of his original releases, but he's still a very nice car. I definitely love how he looks. I mean, I've had him for years, so I've kind of gotten a bit bored of him, but, I mean, he always is a very nice car to see, and he should definitely be released more, in my opinion. When I was little, I had 3 flashback cars: Greta, Hank Halloween Murphy, and Dustin Mellows. Now, I always grouped Greta and Hank Halloween Murphy together. Whenever I think of one, I can't help but think of the other because they're just so extremely similar. No, they're similar types of cars. Greta here, of course, is wearing Ramon's famous Ghost Flame paint job, and she looks very, very nice. Definitely a great release. I'm glad to see her recently released in a Radiator Springs Classic 3-pack. I recently reviewed that, if you guys want to check that out. It was a pretty nice pack. I repainted her to make a bad paint job guy for Cars Adventure series, for my Cars Adventure series. Now, I've heard Collection TV talk about how it should be a longer model. I'm pretty sure he said it has to be a longer model. I definitely kind of agree with that. Was it a longer model or a shorter model? I forget. But one major issue I have with her is she doesn't have a license plate. Why does she have a license plate? In this instance, I'd be perfectly fine if they gave her a license plate that they used on another car. But why didn't they give her one? I don't know. I think I know why the Retro Radiator Springs series never lasted more than a year. Mildred Bylane's the only new release in the whole entire series. She's a very nice car, actually really huge. I'm surprised she's not a deluxe. Jonas Rivera is her model. She's very nice. You could get her cheap online, and I definitely recommend getting her. I personally don't have her. She's actually one of 2 cars in the series that I don't have. The other car we'll get to in just a second. This is the other car I don't have in the series. Edwin Cranks. Definitely a very, very nice model indeed. He's got a very cool looking bright lime green sort of paint job with some stripes going down the side. He's definitely a favorite of mine, even though I don't have him. He looks pretty cool, pretty great, pretty amazing. He always reminded me of Doc, well, the type of model he was. You know who really reminded me of Doc? Milton Calipier. However you pronounce that guy's name. I always thought he looked identical to Doc, because they're both light blue cars that kind of look alike. Alright guys, I just want to quickly say this. Stay tuned until after I talk about the #1 spot, because I'm going to do a quick series recap and say what I think about the series. That's a new thing I'll be doing for all these series ranked videos. So anyway guys, #1 is Dustin Mellows. Now this guy is massive. He's unique. He's absolutely incredible. I've had him since I was little, and his original release, or one of his original releases. I always loved this car. He was so unique and different. Only 2 other cars share his model, which are Miles and, of course, the Nazca truck. But guys, he's just so different. He's so unique. He's just a really amazing vehicle. Hopefully he gets released again in the future, in a future Radiator Springs series, because I feel like any collector really should get him. Now, on to the series recap for Retro Radiator Springs. I feel like this series was kind of unnecessary. There were just so many cars that really were out of place in it. Well, there were 2 cars that were out of place in it. And I feel like, here's what should have happened. Replace Retro Radiator Springs with a regular Radiator Springs series. Get rid of Sally and just put her in the Wheel Well series in the 2-pack. Put all of the cars from the flashbacks in the Radiator Springs Classic collection, including Mildred Bylane. Now, back in the day, they didn't really release new cars in the Radiator Springs Classic series, but I feel like she really should have been put there instead. Same thing with all these other guys from the flashback. So that's Hank Halloween Murphy, Mater, Greta, Edwin Cranks, Mildred Bylane, and of course Dustin Mellows. Now, that leaves you with Lightning Ramon. Sally, I would decide to put her in a 2-pack in the Wheel Well Motel. Keep her in just that pack. Don't release her as a single. I feel like it's kind of a waste. And so, for the Wheel Well Motel series, I feel like that should be heavily edited too. Move Sheriff Sarge, Fillmore, Flo, and Red into this Radiator Springs series. Move Luigi and Guido, etc. into that series. Or don't move Luigi and Guido, because you have Luigi and Guido as shakers and glasses. So leave those in Wheel Well Motel. Leave Ramon in Wheel Well Motel, Waiter Mater, and McQueen and Sally in Wheel Well Motel. Then use the rest of the cars in Wheel Well Motel, all the other opportunities for cars in that series, to make background characters that appeared in the back of the Wheel Well Motel or Meldorado guys. I don't know. I honestly just feel like definitely could have really gotten rid of this series without causing a problem. Bye, guys.